till the day I die. Hey, swing those hips around. Can't stop, roll back down. My ladies, short, tall, thin or wide, always down and ready to ride.
Welcome to the all-new Murder Analyzed. Join me as we delve deep into the darkest corners of human nature. From infamous serial killers to unsolved mysteries, we analyze the cases that have baffled investigators and terrified communities. In each episode, we'll uncover the psychological profiles, dissect the evidence, and explore the chilling details that make these stories unforgettable. If you love true crime and want to stay updated with our latest analyses, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. So, grab a coffee and let's uncover the truth together. Today, our deep dive, we investigate the childhood of one of America's most infamous serial killers, Ted Bundy. By examining the early years of his life through a psychological lens, we aim to uncover the factors that may have contributed to his development into a remorseless predator. Ted Bundy's story is not just one of horror and crime. It's a complex interplay of genetics, environment, and psychology. So if you are ready, let's begin. Let's start by examining his early life and family dynamics. Ted Bundy was born Theodore Robert Cowell on November 24, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont. His birth was shrouded in secrecy, as his mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, was unmarried, and the identity of his father remains uncertain. This early ambiguity about his parentage set a tone of instability and confusion that would permeate his formative years. The secrecy of his birth and early years. To avoid the stigma of illegitimacy, Eleanor took her newborn son to Philadelphia, where her strict and conservative parents, Samuel and Eleanor Cowell, lived. Ted's grandparents decided to raise him as their own son, while Eleanor was presented as his older sister. This familial charade created an environment fraught with deception, laying the foundation for deep-seated issues of trust and identity in young Ted. Growing up believing his mother was his sister and his grandparents were his parents, Ted's perception of family and his own identity was built on a fundamental lie. When Ted eventually discovered the truth, it led to feelings of betrayal and confusion, exacerbating his sense of mistrust towards others. The impact of living with a violent patriarch. Samuel Cowell, Ted's grandfather, was a complex and deeply troubled man. Known for his volatile temper, Samuel's outbursts of rage were a common occurrence in the household. He was reported to be physically abusive, not only towards his family, but also towards animals. Neighbors and family members described Samuel as a tyrannical figure who often espoused racist and bigoted views. This pervasive atmosphere of violence and control likely had a profound impact on Ted's psychological development. Children exposed to such toxic environments often struggle with issues of trust, security, and emotional regulation. Samuel's erratic behavior created an unpredictable and frightening environment for Ted. Psychologically, this instability can lead to the development of maladaptive coping mechanisms, including emotional detachment and aggression, as ways to manage fear and uncertainty. To fully understand this, we need to take a closer look at Samuel's influence. Samuel Cowell's influence on Ted cannot be overstated. His violent tendencies and domineering nature created a household ruled by fear. Family members recounted instances of Samuel's extreme disciplinary actions and his abusive treatment of Ted's grandmother. This relentless exposure to aggression likely normalized violence in Ted's mind, contributing to his later behavior. Ted's experiences with Samuel could have instilled in him a distorted view of power and control. The fear and helplessness he felt as a child might have led him to seek control over others as a way to reclaim a sense of power in his life. Psychologists suggest that such early experiences with abuse can contribute to the development of antisocial traits and a lack of empathy, as individuals may come to view others as objects rather than people with feelings and rights. Now let's look at the role of Eleanor Cowell. Ted's grandmother was a more nurturing figure in his early life, but she herself was a victim of Samuel's abuse. Described as a submissive and anxious woman, Eleanor tried to provide some semblance of normalcy and affection to Ted, but her efforts were often overshadowed by her husband's oppressive presence. Eleanor's inability to protect herself or Ted from Samuel's wrath might have further contributed to Ted's feelings of powerlessness and rage. We can now start to understand the psychological implications. The toxic environment in the Cowell household, marked by secrecy, violence, and domination, played a crucial role in shaping Ted Bundy's psychological landscape. The constant fear and instability, combined with the betrayal of familial trust, set the stage for Ted's emotional detachment and aggression. These early experiences can be seen as the roots of the complex personality that would later emerge in one of America's most infamous serial killers. Understanding Ted Bundy's early life through this psychological lens emphasizes the critical impact of a child's home environment on their development. It also highlights the importance of early intervention in preventing the potential escalation of maladaptive behaviors into more serious and harmful actions. We now move on to other factors, for example, relocation and identity crisis. At the age of 4, Ted Bundy and his mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, moved from Philadelphia to Tacoma, Washington. This move marked a significant transition in Ted's life, as his mother married Johnny Bundy, a hospital cook, shortly after their arrival. Johnny Bundy adopted Ted, giving him his last name and attempting to integrate him into a new family structure. However, this new beginning did not provide the stability that young Ted needed. Early signs of resentment with new family structure. The Bundy household in Tacoma was a modest, working-class environment. Johnny Bundy was described as a kind and hard-working man who made earnest efforts to bond with Ted, but these attempts were met with resistance. Ted never formed a strong emotional connection with his stepfather, often resenting Johnny's attempts at discipline and his efforts to forge a father-son relationship. This resentment stemmed from a deeper, unresolved identity crisis and mistrust that had been brewing since his early years. The impact of deception and mistrust. The revelation that his sister was actually his mother and his grandparents were not his parents created a profound sense of betrayal and confusion in Ted. This deception significantly impacted his ability to trust and connect with others. Moving to Tacoma and being integrated into the Bundy family only added to his confusion and sense of instability. Ted struggled to reconcile his mother's previous deception with the new family dynamics, leading to a growing sense of alienation. In Tacoma, Ted attended a new school, where he initially struggled to fit in. He was described as an intelligent but introverted child, often keeping to himself and showing little interest in forming friendships. His inability to connect with his peers mirrored his strained relationship at home. Ted's social challenges at school further fueled his feelings of isolation and alienation. He often felt like an outsider, which may have contributed to his later ability to mask his true self and blend into different social environments with ease. Resentment towards authority. Psychologists suggest that Ted's inability to accept Johnny Bundy as a father figure contributed significantly to his pervasive sense of alienation. This disconnect not only strained family relationships, but also fueled a growing resentment towards those in positions of authority. Ted often viewed Johnny's disciplinary actions as unjust and intrusive, deepening his disdain for being controlled or dominated by others. Ted's resentment towards authority figures extended beyond his home. In school, he showed early signs of defiance and a desire to assert control. This behavior is consistent with the traits often seen in individuals with emerging antisocial tendencies. His need to assert dominance and control over his environment can be traced back to his disrupted family dynamics and the instability he experienced during his formative years. The constant shifting of Ted's sense of self and family exacerbated his feelings of insecurity and instability. He grappled with his identity, struggling to understand his place within his family and society. This identity confusion is a critical factor in understanding his later behaviors. The instability of his early years, combined with the deception about his parentage, contributed to a fractured sense of self. From a psychological perspective, the lack of a stable and nurturing environment during these critical years can lead to the development of antisocial behaviors. Ted's experience of being uprooted and integrated into a new family, while still dealing with the emotional fallout of his early life deceptions, created a perfect storm for the development of his later pathological behaviors. His inability to form genuine emotional bonds, coupled with a deep-seated mistrust of others, laid the groundwork for his later manipulative and violent tendencies. Let's break it down and highlight some of the factors crucial to his psychological development. Signs of emerging sociopathy. Ted Bundy's formative years were marked by behaviors indicative of emerging sociopathy. His charm, combined with an underlying detachment and a fascination with control, hinted at deeper issues. Sociopathy, characterized by a lack of empathy, deceitfulness, and manipulation, often begins manifesting in childhood through behaviors similar to those Ted exhibited. Taking into account the impact of bullying and social rejection Ted experienced during his school years. The significant bullying and social rejection are thought to have had a meaningful impact on his personality. Although he could be charismatic, his peers often sensed something off about him, leading to periods of isolation and ridicule. These experiences likely contributed to his resentment and alienation. Being both a bully and a victim added complexity to his social interactions and reinforced his feelings of anger and superiority over others. The psychological implications. Ted Bundy's school years were crucial in his psychological development. The combination of charm and antisocial behaviors created a duality that defined his later life. His fascination with macabre subjects, voyeuristic tendencies, and early criminal activities like theft and manipulation are indicative of emerging antisocial traits. These behaviors suggest a deep-seated need for control and a lack of empathy, hallmarks of sociopathy. Bundy's ability to mask these tendencies with a facade of charm and normalcy allowed him to blend into society and gain the trust of his victims. This duality in his personality underscores the complexity of his psychological development. Ted's ability to navigate social environments while harboring darker impulses showcased his complex personality. Understanding his behaviors during these years provides valuable insights into the early warning signs of sociopathy, highlighting the importance of early intervention by parents, educators, and mental health professionals. The master of deception. From an early age, Ted exhibited an uncanny ability to present himself as a normal, even charismatic individual. His charm and good looks made him likable and approachable. In social settings, he was engaging and persuasive, often leaving a positive impression. This outward charm was meticulously crafted. Ted was highly aware of how to manipulate his appearance and behavior to fit the expectations of those around him. His ability to mimic emotional responses allowed him to navigate various social situations without arousing suspicion, effectively gaining the trust of his victims. The charm and inward darkness of Ted Bundy. Bundy's ability to maintain a veneer of normalcy while harboring dark impulses is a testament to his complex psychological makeup. On the surface, he appeared to be a model student and a promising law student. His involvement in politics and work at a crisis hotline added to his image as a responsible individual. These activities masked his true nature, allowing him to avoid detection. However, beneath this polished exterior lay a predatory nature. Bundy meticulously planned his crimes, using his charm to lure victims into a false sense of security. This duality made him a more dangerous and elusive predator. Psychologists have long been fascinated by Bundy's ability to compartmentalize his life so effectively. This ability is a hallmark of sociopathy, characterized by a lack of empathy, deceitfulness, and manipulative behavior. Bundy's early experiences and inherent personality traits combined to create a deeply disturbed individual capable of hiding his true nature. Ted Bundy's childhood offers a chilling glimpse into the making of a sociopath. The interplay of genetic, environmental, and psychological factors in his early years set the stage for his descent into criminality. While many individuals experience adverse childhood conditions without turning to violence, Bundy's story highlights the importance of early intervention and understanding the factors contributing to violent behaviors. While it's challenging to pinpoint the exact genetic contributions to Bundy's behavior, some studies suggest that traits like impulsivity, aggression, and a lack of empathy can be inherited. Ted's grandfather exhibited violent behaviors, suggesting a possible genetic component. Additionally, Bundy's unstable and abusive home life, marked by his grandfather's outbursts and his mother's deception, created a chaotic foundation. The constant exposure to aggression and lack of a stable parental figure likely contributed to his emotional detachment and need for control. Ted Bundy's early life underscores the profound impact of early experiences on individual development. His story serves as a powerful reminder of the need for vigilance, empathy, and proactive measures to ensure children grow up in environments fostering healthy psychological development. Understanding these psychological underpinnings not only sheds light on Bundy's actions, but also emphasizes the critical importance of nurturing and supportive environments in preventing future tragedies. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with fellow true crime enthusiasts. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss an update. We've got more fascinating cases and deep dives coming your way, so stay tuned. Your support helps us continue to bring you the best in true crime analysis. Thanks again for watching. Stay curious and stay safe. So until the next time, it's bye for now.